Hi guys, thank you for joining me for another How to Draw Stuff with me, Calvin Ennis. Okay, today I'm going to show you how to draw a cartoon worm. Okay, sounds sort of boring, right? Well, actually, this is really cool. It's a really nice way of practicing kind of how to draw sort of 3D, simple 3D shapes. And you can actually do quite a lot with your character. So even though it's just a worm, even though there's not really a lot going on there, it's all about using your imagination and bringing that worm character to life. So, to begin with, we're going to start off with some really simple guidelines for our worm. So our worm needs a head, and they need a body. Now, we're not quite there yet. Okay, we need to do a little bit of work. So first off, we're going to thicken up this body. So we're going to use that first line to draw the rest of our worm. And then this becomes our head. So we'll do a little guideline on there, and a little guideline across to get our sort of 3D shape. So already the head looks a little bit sort of 3D, then we need to get this stuff 3D. And we're going to keep this really, really simple. Now, if you've used my previous drawing tutorials, you'll know that this line down the middle is your sight line that runs down the middle of your character's face. So we know that an eye goes on this side, and we know an eye goes on this side. Now, I know worms don't have eyes like this, but this is a cartoon, so it really doesn't matter. So there we go. We're going to just come up here and draw a really simple little mouth. Kind of surprised looking worm. And that's it for the head. We want super, super, super simple head. Now, it's more about the body. So this shape at the moment is flat. We need to make it look 3D. So to do that, we're going to draw some curves on it. And these curves, to begin with, pointing downwards, following along, equally apart. And you'll see how I've now started to turn these curves. So we're still going in the same direction, still sort of away from the head, but these are now curving upwards, you see? So I'm just following along, doing the same curves as you turn a corner. You imagine these curved lines are like a racing car, so it's turning around the corner, turning back over here. And then you have a worm that has a 3D body. It's got some depth to it. It's got these curves that sort of stop this from being a flat 2D shape and make it into a 3D shape. So let's just go over those eyes ever so quickly, just so we can finish off this guy and move on to the next one. But there is your cartoon worm. Okay. Then it's just a case of adding a little bit of colour, and you can sort of do what you like at that point. But this is the important thing, okay, getting these curves in. So if I show you up here, we draw two little shapes that are exactly the same, pretty much exactly the same. Now with this one, I'm going to do the curves facing that way. Now this one, I can do the curves facing that way. And now these two shapes are facing in different directions. You can see how they look a little bit different. And you can use this same sort of idea. So let's have two overlapping shapes, okay? Now this front one, I'm going to have the curves going this way. This back one, I'm going to have the curves going this way. Now you see I'm just stopping when I get to there. So this is now these two 3D shapes hidden behind each other. And this has suddenly got some sort of depth to it, okay? You can stick a little bit of shadow underneath. And you've got these two little shapes that you can turn into little grubs, you can turn into insects. It's sort of up to you, really. There you go. You've got two weird little creatures. But it's all about getting those curved lines right. And it's the same sort of thing as when you're drawing your worm. So if we have a head up here again, so this worm is sort of jumping this time, we're going to do sort of an action shot. So let's thicken up that line. Let's put our eyes in there. Again, worms, I know they don't have tongues. Doesn't really matter, it's a cartoon, get over it. There we go. But we want this to look 3D. So as you're going away from the head, curve these lines, keep them turning as you go around a corner, turning back as you come back again, and then you have your 3D worm. You can start to do some kind of quite cool stuff with this. So let's curve that one back. Now, at the moment, these are all nice and thick. They're all kind of on the same sort of depth. Now, I want this one to get further away. So what I'm going to do is make it get a little bit thinner and smaller as it goes back. And what we can do now is as we get further away from the head, keep doing these curves in the same direction, but keep bringing them closer together. So they're getting closer and closer, closer and closer. And then you have a worm or a shape that is kind of going off into the distance, going off into the background. Just using those simple shapes again. There we go, got a surprised looking worm's face. But this guy is now set back over here. So we can even do things like, look, he's leaping off this little grassy bank. Casting a shadow there. So then you have this kind of really dynamic sort of 3D sort of illustration. A few movement lines on there. And again, if you want to know how to do movement lines, check out my drawing tutorial on that. But for this one, it's all about creating this depth to your worms. And you can use this with a lot of different things, okay? You're better off starting off with a worm because it's such a simple shape. Then as you sort of develop your skills, you can apply this to lots and lots of different things. But start off with the worm. Start off with a really simple guideline for the head. Draw your wobbly line, thicken that line up, and then using those curved lines, make your worm character 3D. Give it some depth. So that's it for today. Have fun practicing this one. As ever, I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and all that cool stuff. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you all again next time.